of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. IP&E, fueling excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurants. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Starting now on Primetime, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signs a new executive order, including a program giving direct aid to some of the island's poorest. And lawmakers vote to override the transparency bill vetoed by the governor last week. And the Supreme Court of the United States will not hear Guam's appeal of a Ninth Circuit Court ruling that a native inhabitants-only plebiscite is unconstitutional.
Half a day and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. Before we get to today's latest headlines, here's a message from one of our frontline heroes.
Day. My name is Jado Santos from the Guam Fire Department. This is a friendly reminder to tell you to stay home, stay safe. We'll get through this together and we'll save a life.
Thank you for your service. We can't express enough gratitude and appreciation to all our frontline heroes. Up to $1,200 in emergency assistance for as many as 18,000 local families could be sent out as early as Friday. Nestor Lecanto has more on one of the governor's major new initiatives announced today.
I know that many of our people need immediate relief. For that reason, Executive Order 2020-12 establishes Programan Salapi Azudon Itauto.
It's a direct disaster aid program that will be paid for by $20 million from the more than $117 million in federal disaster assistance that the governor recently received. She says she understands that the public has been suffering and is angry, and she is too.
I think it has been too long, but it's not because of my control. It is a first federal control, and also we did not get this $117 million till about maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The delay in pushing this money out is because we had to abide by federal guidelines and advice, and we didn't get it till I think about a week ago.
Public Health will distribute the money to those who already qualify for programs like SNAP or Medicaid. Those who are within a certain threshold of the national poverty level can also qualify. For example, a household of 5 that makes no more than $4,400 a month. You can check the Public Health website for the chart and have until May 14 to apply. The governor also said she expects to reopen certain businesses by May 11th. Public Health will be releasing an advisory shortly for which industries will be allowed to reopen, and businesses within those industries will have to agree to certain health and safety guidelines. The governor also announced plans for $20 million in direct grants for business interruption losses. GITA is coming up with guidelines for which businesses can qualify. An announcement about that will also be made soon. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The long-awaited federal stimulus checks will be sent out in a couple of weeks. Department of Revenue and Taxation Director Daphne Shimizu said she received the approval of their implementation plan from the IRS and U.S. Treasury early this morning.
I want people to have hope. I want people to know that we are going to do our best to get these out to you. I promise you, this is so important to me personally. It's important to our team, my team here at Rev and Tax.
DRT is expected to receive an estimated $145 million for the federal assistance program. $11 million will be reimbursed back to the government for fronting payments to those making $10,000 or less. The one-time stimulus checks for individuals who make under $75,000 will be $1,200, and for married couples making less than $150,000, it'll be $2,400. Those who make more in either bracket are expected to receive less. The legislature has voted to override the governor's veto of Senator Therese Terlahi's transparency bill. The bill was passed unanimously by lawmakers about 2 weeks ago and now requires Adelup to provide a report to the legislature of all COVID-19 related expenses. The vote was 14-1, with only Senator Amanda Shelton voting against it.
It requires transparency for expenditures and agreements made by the executive branch. It removes legal impediments to quick distribution of cash assistance and unemployment. It allows for the reassignment of government employees to expedite tax refunds, cash assistance, and unemployment checks. It provides a mechanism that could relieve employees from tracking down their employers for this unemployment program. I have said this many times in this session hall and out in the community, that transparency and providing information to the people of Guam is the only way we can make the government of Guam more trustworthy, more efficient, more responsive to the needs of the people. And it is particularly essential during a public health emergency that the administration and the government of Guam is honest and upfront about its plans, its challenges, and its priorities. The people of Guam are smart, and if given all the data and information, we can all work together to find the best solutions during this unprecedented crisis.
And the truth is, there are inequities that exist in this bill. Madam Speaker, please don't misunderstand me. The intent of the bill is good. Transparency is good and absolutely necessary. The truth is, Bill 333 fails to achieve its intent. Unfortunately, Bill 333 is not rooted in trust. So it continues to tear down the trust that we need to achieve this transparency. Voters elect and trust us to take on the issues of the day. I believe and I know there is a need for transparency, but the dictate of transparency does not exist in this legislation. The mechanism for transparency does not exist in this bill. We cannot add another layer of obscured transparency to prevent us from moving forward.
The governor, in her veto message, stated placing additional requirements on the use of these funds is an overreach of legislative authority. The governor is standing behind her legal counsel. KUAM News asked the Magahaga if she thought the way her son-in-law and legal counsel Haig Hun handled procurement of hotels as quarantine facilities would hold up to FEMA reimbursement standards. There are no contracts in place for those facilities, and FEMA has told KUAM they haven't received any paperwork on the procuring of hotels.
The way that we handle this procurement and the way that we used our emergency powers are within the law as stated. I truly, fully believe that the legal counsel and the legal team acted appropriately. They acted within the bounds of the law, and they acted quickly to help in helping the community contain this virus. So yes, I stand behind my legal counsel's actions.
The governor offered her version of events regarding the use of Public Health Director Linda Denorsi's digital signature. Denorsi said her electronic signature was used without her permission on documents relative to negotiations for the use of the Pacific Star Hotel for a GovGuam quarantine hotel.
It was read over the telephone and her permission was asked. And she gave and authorized her permission to that particular letter. Now, she did say to me that she does not remember and she does not recall, and that can be also plausible because as Linda is the director of public health and there's, you know, many things coming her way, many decisions she has to make, I can agree that she does not recall or does not remember.
KUAM spoke with Denorsi late yesterday afternoon, and she told us she stands by statements she made to the media. Today, Adelup holds the first press conference since GovGuam censored the media on Thursday. Yesterday, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio and the administration's Chief Policy Director, Carlo Branch, made public apologies. And today, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero issues a transparency plan and officially apologized. An immediate measure to increase the administration's transparency.
Executive Order 2020-13 that would take 4 immediate steps in increasing our administrative transparency with the use of federal funds relative to COVID-19.
Governor Lulian Guerrero signs off on Executive Order 2020-13. That includes having a third-party review on the use of federal funds for government expenditures in response to the pandemic. Additionally, any responses by an executive branch agency on document requests are to be submitted to the Attorney General's office and made public on the OAG's website.
All line agencies will compile responses provided relative to this disaster since the declaration of the public health emergency on March 14th and submit them to the Attorney General's office. This will allow every citizen the opportunity to regularly review documents secured under FOIA and our responses to them.
This need for transparency grew after last week the government attempted to censor the media and ultimately shut down multiple local media reporters' questions raised on spending and financial assistance. Yesterday, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio formally apologized to KUAM and the people of Guam. Additionally, Chief Policy Director Carlo Branch publicly announced he was sorry and took responsibility for directing the censorship. Today, KUAM asked Governor Lulian Guerrero if she supported this directive.
While yes, the media and people have since received an apology from Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and your Policy Director Carlo Branch, and I do appreciate it, but I want to ask you, Governor, did you support the decision to censor the media and the action by your Communications Director, Janella, to press mute on our questions at last Thursday's press conference? And do you also plan to issue an apology at all for not answering the media, more so the people?
So let me just say, Adriana, that I give great respect for my Director of Communications and Policy for being very forthright in apologizing. I also have great respect for the Lieutenant Governor and very forthright in apologizing. There was no intention of censorship at all. There was no intention of censorship. The fact that it was muted, it was muted because I know the guidelines were certain guidelines and it wasn't being followed. And it is what it is, and people have apologized. And so I am going to be together with great respect, honesty, truth. Yes, I apologize for the mistake that happened. People make mistakes, government makes mistakes, but I am not ashamed to say we made a mistake, and so I apologize.
However, not following suit and staying mute on the matter is Communications Director Janella Carrera. Carrera was present during today's live Zoom press briefing, announcing reporters are now able to control the muting and unmuting of their mics. Additionally, questions were unlimited. Executive Order 2020-13 also establishes a COVID-19 Pandemic Recovery Office to become a central area for COVID-19 response and recovery information. For more than 4 decades of service at the Guam Visitors Bureau, CEO Pilar Laguarnia is leaving the agency. Governor Lulian Guerrero says she's sad about her decision, but respects it.
She just felt she has given 41 good years to GVB, and it's time for her to do other stuff, and she'd like to move on and do other stuff, spend more time with her daughter.
Laguarnia's last day at GVB is May 30th. The U.S. Supreme Court will not hear Guam's appeal of a Ninth Circuit Court ruling that a native inhabitants-only plebiscite is unconstitutional. GovGuam was seeking to overturn the decision in the case brought by a former resident, Arnold Dave Davis, that the voting discriminates against non-Indigenous residents in violation of the 15th Amendment. The mainland-based legal firm retained by Guam's Attorney General had argued in its brief to the High Court that, quote, the plebiscite would provide a mechanism for Guam to ascertain its residents' views on a fundamental question of self-determination, unquote. Davis was represented by the Center for Individual Rights, which argued that the term native inhabited was designed to limit the vote to Chamorros, a racial designation referring to the descendants of the original inhabitants of Guam, to the exclusion of other groups otherwise registered to vote in Guam elections. The denial of the writ of certiorari basically means the Supreme Court has decided not to hear the case and that the Ninth Circuit decision stands. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero says it is a disappointment, but it is what it is. She says she will be meeting with the Commission on Decolonization Director Melvin Juan Pet Borja to discuss options on how to move forward. And stick around for more news here on Primetime.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
During these uncertain times, it's important to remember that we are in this together.
The Cowles Insurance team has continued to service the needs of our customers.
As in the past 80 years, you can count on us to be here when you need us most, when it comes to your health and the health of your family.
Let's continue making the right choices by staying home, staying safe, and staying healthy.
We are all in this together, and together we will rise again.
Hafa, I'm Bernie Valencia with Matson. Our local Matson team understands that these are very trying times for everyone. Matson's top priority, like yours, is to keep our families safe and healthy and ensure you have what you need. We'd like to give you peace of mind that Matson's service continues on schedule and uninterrupted. Matson is committed to our weekly service from the United States West Coast to Honolulu into Guam and Saipan. We are working with the Port Authority of Guam and providing the capacity and services our customers need so they can continue to meet your needs. Matson will take all appropriate measures to ensure continuity of service into Guam and Saipan. When we work together to take care of our family and neighbors, we will emerge from this as a stronger island community.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Port Authority of Guam, KUAM Communications, and Matson.
We are open to serve you at Cars Plus Guam. Need a quick service for your vehicle? Visit our express lane at Cars Plus. Done fast, done right. No appointment needed. Our service team is dedicated to helping you get your vehicle in and out of the shop and back on the road quickly and securely. Simply drop off your vehicle at our express lane driveway, and one of our service advisors will take care of it. Need a ride? Not to worry. We have a shuttle vehicle ready to drop you back home and pick you up when your vehicle is ready. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit us today. We are open to serve you.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The Guam Department of Education plans to meet with administrators to discuss plans for an alternative graduation ceremony. GDOE officially announced yesterday there will not be a physical graduation ceremony this year, which is typically scheduled for the first week of June. Superintendent John Fernandez says they have asked schools to submit their suggestions for an alternative ceremony as the planning is done at the school level.
I've seen a lot of examples of things that are already happening, maybe around the world and on the mainland, in terms of things like, virtual ceremonies, of course, where the ceremony takes place online. Also, you know how we do our grab and go, almost like a drive-through graduation ceremony where students can come and pick up their diplomas. Suggestions about some types of or form of a motorcade type of ceremony where people are in their cars and they get to celebrate, but maintaining the social distancing and all the other safety requirements. This is kind of an unusual situation, but again, we want to allow them to be creative, find an alternative way to celebrate, and then we're going to do our best to support them.
If any graduating seniors or parents have any further questions for the department, you can visit their website, gdoe.net, and click the Class of 2020 section. Fernandez adds that during the school year this week is recognized as Teacher Appreciation Week, and tomorrow is National School Nurses Day, and on behalf of the department, he expresses gratitude for their work.
I just want to say to all of our teachers out there, just really say a big thank you, Dr. Nasidus Maasi, for all the work, and especially those who are still working and still reaching out to their kids and supporting them through the lessons that they're getting at home, and we're supporting parents as well. And then also, for our school nurses who are out there, we've got about 40 nurses deployed in various parts of the COVID-19 response. Just want to make sure that they know we're thinking of them and looking out for their safety and well-being as well.
On behalf of KUAM, thank you to all the school nurses and teachers continuing to offer aid through this time. A happy Teacher Appreciation Week and National School Nurses Day to you all. The CNMI is mourning the death of its fourth governor, Froilan Cruz Tenorio. CNMI Governor Ralph Torres announcing Tenorio's passing earlier this morning. He says that former Governor Tenorio passed away on May 4th in Fort Worth, Texas. Governor Torres stated in a proclamation, quote, Governor Tenorio led a great life that was highlighted by his decades of public service. He was a true statesman in every sense of the word, unquote. He added that Tenorio was deeply devoted to the islands and worked hard to protect them during his years as a congressman, a senator, as our Washington representative, and as our governor. Flags across the NMI will be flown at half-staff as a mark of solemn respect. Cultural and humanities-based nonprofit organizations experiencing hardships due to the COVID-19 pandemic can apply for financial relief through Humanities Guahan's CARES Act Emergency Relief Grant Program. The program is made possible by funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities and Federal 2020 Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act. Organizations may apply for up to $10,000 in relief funds, which may be used for general operating expenses and pre-existing or pre-planned programming. Small organizations with limited resources or limited access to support and organizations that serve underserved communities are encouraged to apply. Grant applications will be accepted online starting May 15th and will be accepted until October 1st or until grant funds are no longer available. For more information, visit KUAM.com. And in this week's Health Check report, we take a look at how the coronavirus is having other effects on people.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
The coronavirus has sickened our economy. Work and businesses shut down and unemployment climbing. But a study at USC looking at 5,500 people shows the virus is having other effects.
To really understand how people's lives are kind of evolving and changing over time due to the pandemic.
Kyla Thomas is a sociologist at the Center for Economic and Social Research and a member of the Understand America survey team.
We asked people about any protective measures they were taking to keep themselves safe, how vulnerable they felt to the virus, and then we also asked them about their kind of economic insecurity and kind of psychological distress.
Money is a big concern, with a third of people worried they could run out in the next 3 months, which can lead to anxiety and depression, which is up 12%, with 48% of people in LA County reporting they are suffering from psychological distress, with younger people between 18 and 34 suffering the most. Women had the biggest increase, and men went from 25 to 33%.
Almost half of LA County residents are feeling mild to severe psychological distress. I think that's really cause for concern.
Lifestyle changes show 94% avoid public spaces, 88% avoid contact with high-risk people, 77% wear face covering, 65% pray, and 96% wash their hands more. You can see all of their survey information on their website that went live today and will be updated daily. We have a link to it on our website, kcal9.com, and click Seen on TV. Amy Johnson, KCAL 9 News.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Today is Giving Tuesday, and Guam joined hundreds of countries around the world in showing support for those on the front lines and helping those in need due to the COVID-19 crisis. Immediately following prime time, make sure to watch Giving Tuesday now, Together We Give, highlighting the amazing acts of generosity on Guam. You can also visit all our social media platforms for video and photos we received from all of you that use the hashtag Giving Tuesday Now and hashtag Giving Tuesday Guam. And keep it here for more news on Prime Time.
More freedom. To learn more,